And welcome back to Nancy's Neighborhood. And I told you not to go away because we'd have another guest. And this is a new guy in town. And I'm thrilled to death to introduce you to him because he's the new senior pastor at Broad Street United Methodist Church, Micah Nichols. And we're just so thrilled to have him at Broad Street. But I wanted him to come on today and tell you a little bit about himself, a little bit about his family, and let's be sure he gets settled into Cleveland just really good. So welcome, Micah.
Well, thank you. Great to be here.
Thank you for being with us today because I know you're busy.
Well, yeah, it's the first couple weeks have been drinking from a fire hydrant. Let's just say that.
And I can imagine it. Folks, right before we went on the air, his phone rang. He said, could I take this just a minute? And so it was something had church related. So these things happen.
That's right.
So you really don't have a whole lot of your time.
No, well, we do a pretty good job. We want to work hard and play hard. That's kind of our motto. And we believe Sabbath rhythm and Sabbath rest is really important. And let me tell you, if you're watching today, it's really important. Do your job well, but also take that time for your family and for yourself. Make sure you get a plenty of rest because you want to be refreshed. You don't want to go to work weary every day. So take that time for Sabbath rest.
That's exactly right. And I try to do that, sir. I really do. I try. I look at my calendar every once in a while and say, Nancy, you need to take something off of there. But anyway.
I've looked at your schedule. I think you might need a little more Sabbath, Nancy.
But I'm learning the word no.
Good.
My friends don't believe that yet, but they're going to ask me something. I'm going to say no, and then they're going to believe me.
Good.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Micah.
Well, I am glad to be here. I was born to pastor in Kamsack, Saskatchewan, Canada. It was 70 degrees below zero wind chill factor the day that I was born. But my dad was serving in a church in Canada. We moved immediately back. He was only there 1 year. He must not have been very good.
Either that or he didn't like the cold weather.
Yeah, one or the other. But really, homeland for us is Wisconsin. And so Green Bay Packers, Milwaukee Brewers, Milwaukee Bucks.
He's a cheesehead.
Yep, big cheesehead. But we've lived all over. I've lived in Montana, Nebraska, Indiana, Texas. But God got me to East Tennessee as soon as he could. So we love it here in East Tennessee.
And this is the weather and the landscape of East Tennessee is a little bit different from most of the other places where you've been.
Yes, it definitely is. You know what's really attractive about East Tennessee, and y'all know this, but being able to go to the mountains and to hike and to kayak and to get into the rivers and streams, what a blessing it is. And you can really see the handprint of God upon this country.
And the thing about it is, I think a lot of us locals take those things for granted.
Yes, I was sitting in the hallway on my way here and saw a picture of what they called the Ocoee Lake that's found on the river. Mm-hmm. And you can't hardly but sit back and just go, what a blessing to be in this area. And if we're not careful, we'll take it for granted and we'll just kind of go about our day. But take that time and get out there and enjoy the creation that's all around us, rivers and streams. What a blessing that we have.
I sit right on the river, and so I go out sometimes in the mornings with my cup of coffee and just sit on my deck and watch the birds and the ducks and the geese and the ospreys and things like that, and it is wonderful.
Yeah, and you can't forget the sounds also that come alongside
true.
Of that. That's so important, and finding a way to be refreshed daily. That's such an important holy habit to practice.
Now, you started out in your ministry as a youth minister?
I did. People tease me all the time. I'm 46 years old, and I've lived in the church parsonage all but about 3 years of my life when I was in college. But I started as a youth director, and when I was 22, I looked like I was about 16. And I'll never forget our first time going to summer camp. I got off of the bus and had all the kids wait and went to go and check in. And I said, we're here from such and such church to check in for camp. And they said, well, that's great. Just go and get your youth director, and we'll check you all in. And I turned my baseball cap around, and I said, all right, I'm here. And away we went. So, yeah.
That does happen. That does happen to us. That actually never happened to me because I always look my age. And that's like somebody the other day was talking about, oh, Nancy, you haven't changed that much since high school. And I thought, did I look this old when I was in high school? But anyway, so you started as a youth director, and then you progressed up to an adult ministry?
Yeah, I guess that's what they call it. I was a youth director in Sugar Land, Texas, and my wife was a youth director in Houston, Texas. And we met one another, got married, and spent some time in Dallas, Texas, at a church called Lover's Lane. Yeah, that's right. But we spent 6 years there. And then I went to Asbury Seminary in Wilmore, Kentucky, and did my theological training there. I spent my last year of seminary in Jerusalem, being able to study kind of in the land and walk the same steps that Jesus walked. And it was a wonderful experience. Had in-depth studies in the ancient texts, worked a lot on Hebrew and the ancient language of the Bible, and got to know a lot about just the geographic setting of which the Bible was written in. And it's really impacted and changed the way that I teach, the way that I preach, but most importantly, my personal discipleship and the way that I follow Jesus.
I loved, I think it was your first sermon maybe, that when you explained Jerusalem and the temple and how everything, I had no idea.
You know, one of my seminary professors always would say this before we'd start in class. He'd say, we got to have a context. And the Bible is a book that was written in a time period, in a physical setting, with a specific people group. And then he'd say, if you don't have the context, you have a pretext for saying anything that you want to. And it's so right.
Very true.
We need to understand that the Bible was written 2,000 years ago, and many years before that, of course, but in a setting with a specific people group, with a culture, a history, a narrative. And we need to do our best to try and understand that to get to the deepest meaning of Scripture.
Absolutely. So before you came to Cleveland, you were in Lenoir City?
We were. I served for 6 years at Central United Methodist Church. Lenoir City's on the western side of Knoxville, and it was a great group of people. I have two sons, Andrew and Thomas. Andrew's 9 and Thomas is 7. And they were raised in that church, and they love that church, but now they're fully embraced by the people of Broad Street and the greater Cleveland community. They've been at every swimming pool that Cleveland has already, so they're wearing out the diving boards here in town.
That's good.
Yes.
That is very good, because the weather we've had lately, the swimming pool or the river is where you need to be.
That's right. And I'll tell you, as an outsider coming to Cleveland, boy, what a community. And this town has done just such an incredible job of having public offerings and parks and greenways and pools and public services. We're very fortunate, each of us are very fortunate to live in Bradley County and in Cleveland. And so we feel very blessed to be here.
Well, I wasn't born in Bradley County, but I've told the people before that I got here as fast as I could. I was born just the next county up, McMinn County. And the only problem I've had with it, and you won't have this problem, is when Bradley Bears play the McMinn Cherokees in any sport, I just have a real hard time. But being on the Bradley County School Board now, I have to get over that. I have to cheer for the Bradley Bears, so, which, sometimes but I'm cheering for you, boys and girls, I'm cheering. But we do have a great place here, and people are so friendly. I found that out when I first moved here.
Yeah, it's such a great place. And you can tell it when you walk into stores. You can tell it when you're walking down the streets. People give you their eyes and they look at you. We don't make a habit of looking away, but we greet one another. And I think that's a big part of building a culture inside of a community, that we care for one another and connecting with each other and sharing a greeting or a hello. You won't find that all over the country.
No, you will not.
And trust me, I've lived all over the country.
Yes, it sounds like you have. But you're right. I mean, I speak to people, strangers on the street. If I'm passing them, I always say, hi, how are you? And usually they respond back.
Yes.
So I think that is so wonderful for Cleveland. So I'm not going to ask you about any exciting things that are going to be happening at Broad Street, because you're just there now, just getting your feet wet.
That's right. We're just getting started.
And it's probably going to be very interesting. But, I'm not there. Like I say, I'm not going there. But Randy Martin, and Randy and I've known each other since high school. First time I had Randy on TV, I said, Randy, how do we get in touch with you at the church? Could you tell us your number? And he said, no. He didn't know the church phone number. I got it memorized now, folks. We'll do that here in just a minute. But we do have a website at the church.
We do. You can go to bsumc.org, which is Broad Street United Methodist Church, and we'd love to share information with you. We're in the process of updating all of that data. You can call us at 865-476-5586. Ask for Micah, ask for Skip, ask for Mary. We have 3 wonderful pastors. We've got a staff with children's directors, youth directors, all kinds of wonderful people. And I will say that Broad Street really does care about you. And we want to have that opportunity. If you don't have a church home, we'd love to minister with you, and we'd love to join you on your faith journey. And if you have a church home already, we'd really encourage you, go to your church home, be active, find a way for your faith to really make a difference in your life. so that you can make a difference as God's kingdom comes on earth just like it is in heaven. I believe each of us have an opportunity to make Cleveland and Bradley County, East Tennessee, and the world a much better place. And so if we'll just kind of invest in ourselves through God and then take that and invest in our community and others, boy, we can share life and share love so that this world can be a better place.
Absolutely. Now let me ask you about, we don't do it in the summers, but Wednesday night dinners and activities and Bible studies, will we be doing that again?
Yep, we got
Okay.
they call it GPS.
Uh-huh.
And I haven't been through a Wednesday night here at this church, but we're looking forward to it. We have really active children's programs, youth programs. We have a dinner. It all starts at 5 o'clock, and we'll be launching August 23rd.
Okay.
So that's the time where you can come. It's a preview night, and so if you're on the, well, come on out. Just take a look and see all of the different offerings. I'll be teaching a class on the rocks of the Bible, a geological study of the Scriptures.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, well, I know Sunday morning we're going to sing about the rock, one of the rocks. So
All right.
that'll be interesting. But you haven't heard our youth choir yet, have you?
I have not.
Because you came after their season, but they'll start back up this fall. So we have a tremendous, Enlighten is a tremendous ministry for youth at our church. And we have a lot of kids that sing, young adults that sing in Enlighten, that don't go to Broad Street, but they come and sing, and then they go back to their church, which is fine.
Yes.
You know, we encourage them to do that. So I'm just excited to death that you're there. You're so full of energy and so vibrant, and everything's happening really fast, and it's going to be great. But your wife she used to be a youth director, now full-time mama?
She is. She's a full-time mom, and she kind of leads the house and takes care of all of us. She's a great lady, and she's my friend, my wife, my partner, my soulmate, my son's mom, and she just does a great job. She's fun. She loves to hike. She loves to get outside. We bicycle a lot, and we have a lot of fun.
That is super. And I will tell y'all, Micah walked from the church over to the studio today, which I'm very proud of you because I'm located right across the street from the church, and I drove.
Well, that's all right.
But it's 100 degrees out there, so I wasn't fixing to do that. I was going to just drive on over. So, okay, we got my producer, Bryce, over there, who you met earlier. Great guy.
He is.
Great guy. I don't even want to think about not having him after next year. But anyway, any last-minute information you'd like to share with anyone?
Well, just if there's any way that we can partner with you in life, we'd love to do that. And so feel free to give us a call. Feel free to stop in at the church anytime. We'll meet you over at Gardner's, a secret gem.
That's another gem.
Cleveland City.
I have my breakfast there every morning, yes.
We'd love to have a sandwich with you in any kind of a way. And whatever we can do to help you on your journey, we'd love to partner with you.
Micah, thank you so much. And I'm so thrilled that you're here at Broad Street now. And we'll be moving and shaking, folks. You may feel that part of downtown just shifting a little bit, and that'll be okay.
Amen.
Absolutely, it'll be okay. Thank you so much, Micah, for being with us. Here's my little spiel again, folks. Watch our commercials, support our sponsors. They pay our bills. And I'll be right back when you need to get out your paper and pencil and write down the activities that are going to be happening in Cleveland and Bradley County in the next week or two. So don't go away. We'll be right back.